Here we go. Part 5 in 5D. Actually, if it was in 5D, we'd all be telepathic and I could just go, hey, look for yourself. Or I could just say, hey, check this out. And I could just send it to you. But we're a ways from that, I guess. So I'll stick to the 3D method. Yeah. After I had the two little strokes, yeah, it was turned 2018, and I just basically just slept. I spent a couple days in the hospital. I just slept for 2 days. I came out. I didn't lose anything that I know of. The only thing I lost was the desire to smoke, and I quit using the patch. And it was easier than I thought. It was difficult. One thing I learned about when I quit drinking alcohol is that, addictions take a lot of time, and if you're going to quit something, you better find something to take up all that time. So when I quit drinking alcohol, I got internet. I found out a way to get internet. This was like 2011. And I started playing a game called Seafight. It's a pirate game. You can still play it. It's still out there. But it was pretty epic back in the day. Yeah, I got really heavy into that. I was sailing a pirate ship with I found a good group of guys. Got in a group with, they're mostly Canadian, and there's a Brit and some South American guys, and so it was a lot of fun. And it just took time away from it gave my mind something to think about. That's with cigarettes too. It takes a lot of time. Addictions take a lot of time, so I need to find something else. What I found Ancient Aliens, the TV show. I'd seen a UFO before, seen a few of them, so I thought, well, wow, what's this? So I had it on demand. I got my inheritance, and I got a little money, and I had all these TV stations I didn't have. I had antenna TV before that. So yeah, I had Ancient Aliens on demand, so I watched every one of them back to back. Then I found Gaia TV, and that was mind blowing because it explained my life to me. I didn't understand why it was all these same people screwing with me my whole life, and why is it with these people? I found out. And it was mind blowing, and I got a subscription to newspaper archives, and that was very eye-opening too. And then I got disability, so I didn't have to work anymore. And when I was watching Gaia TV, there's one man on there, Raymond Tarpey. It's like, I have to talk to this guy. I just have to talk to this. Not that I wanted to, I had to. And so I looked him up, and he gives mind calendar readings, and I got a reading with him, and yeah, it was, it was pretty sensational. He was pretty much right about everything, and I don't know, I think he's he's got to be my soul brother, I think. But he gave me the recommendation of a medical intuitive in Portland, lives north of here, and So I went and talked to her, and she helped me with my rheumatoid arthritis. And I also told her about the place where I work, the farm where I worked. I gave her a picture of the orchard with the skull, and didn't have a picture of the plant, but she looked at it and she goes, "Oh yeah, there's something. There's something there." She said, there are natural drains, and then they're like portals or something, negative places that, you know, feed evil, I suppose. I don't know. But she said that, you know, she comes to Salem once a month and that she would help. And, you know, she said she used to close those things. Her guides used to tell her, you know, guide her to places like that to close. And she offered, said she comes down once a month, and said I didn't have to do that by myself. You know, there are people that do that. So I don't know. It seems like a lot to ask from a friend. So I went looking around. But the thing that really sold it for me is that I got disability. The next year I told the owner, I say, "Hey, I can't do this anymore. I'm disabled." He goes, "Well, could you come in the first day and train the guys?" Because I'd run that plant for like 20 years. Could you train the guys and get us started? And it's like, okay, I can do that. So that first day they're going to start the plant the next year, go in, park my car, and I'm walking up, see the owner there, Dan. You know, and the first thing he says is, "See, the plant's there, and then his house is, it's on the same property." So he said, "Jorge came in this morning, and he checked the goats. There's a pen of goats in his backyard. He said one of the goats was dead, and half its head was missing. And there's no blood anywhere." I go, "Are you serious?" He goes, "Yeah." And his eyes were, he was freaked out. So, whoa, okay, that's weird. So I got him trained up and got him started and worked till about lunch. And they said, "Okay, I'm out of here, guys. Have fun. Have fun with what's going on here." So I split, and I got to thinking about it. I saw that I had the information I needed. I started looking up shows and studying this, and there's something out there. I had a medical intuitive. I saw what I saw in medical intuitive and dead goat. Then I started thinking about the history. It's like every year someone died right before the season started. There's one time that one of the drivers, his mom died right before the season. Steve, my friend, his dad owned that place. He died right before the season started. And I ended up living right where same place where he died. My mom died right at the start of the season. It's like every year someone related to this place died. There was a guy about 3 years before this is like 2000, I don't know, 2009, something like that. We pruned the orchard there's a nearby hazelnut orchard, and we agreed to prune their orchard if they'd give us the nuts they produced to process. And that guy that owned that farm died that year. He drove off the end of this. There's a T intersection. The nearest intersection to this place, it's a T intersection. And there's probably been, in the last 20 years, there's well over 100 accidents there, 8 deaths that I know of. They finally got some warning things. Got a big, huge, flashy barrier. That, man, if you hit that, you. But it took, 30 years of people going off that thing for them to do something. That's that whole area. There's a house, the house nearest where I was. There's a skull orchard where I lived, and it's like a mile and a half. As a crow flies, it's about a mile away. As you drive, it's about a mile and a half. It's like there's the amount of tragedy in that area is really kind of unsettling. The house is next to mine, next to the Skull Farm where I lived. That place, there's this, two of the people that worked at that farm used to live there. This Jim, apparently he was 3. Him and his uncle were home. His uncle was working on a car, and a car fell on him, and it killed him. And Jim, the 3-year-old, was the only one there, so he had to spend his day with his dead relative crushed by a car. But he later worked at the farm, him and Stuart and all these other guys, and they got really heavy into meth. It's like all the people in that family that lived near me, well, the guy got crushed, but all the 3 sons, they had 3 sons that lived there. None of them lived past 30 or like 34. They all died. It's like the amount of tragedy in that area is. So I started thinking about it. I mean, there's something there. I felt, well, I know about this. I have to do something about it. I just can't walk away. So after I found out and I kind of figured out, and I went and talked to the owner. I said, hey, there's something out here. I saw this shimmery thing twice. And you just think of the history out here. I mean, people go there, there's one year, all 5 guys were on meth. They're doing drug deals right at work. This one kid, he's so out of it, he bought a car he couldn't afford, and then I guess he came into work one day. We have gas pumps there, and he's running out of money. He needs gas, so he's going to give the owner some meth to trade for gas. It's just crazy what was going on out there. They were so into needing money for meth, they started recycling everything. All the metal out there, we had all these old parts and things from years, and they just threw it all. They just put it all in a truck and threw it away. All this, they probably, the former owner used to have a hardware store, and when they closed it out, they put all the excess, they brought it all to the farm. There's probably $1,000, probably a couple $1,000 in brass fittings, and they just all recycled it all. Probably got $2 for all those brass fittings. But yeah, it's pretty crazy out there. But yeah, I noticed myself. I go out there and I start cussing. I never really cuss. I use curse words, but out there it's just like, I just think, why am I? This is the only place I really cuss. So I talked to the owner. I said, there's something out here, and he goes, well, he said the first time he took ownership, he went and sat in the office, and he sat in the owner's chair, and he saw the previous owner who had just died standing outside the window looking at him. And he was freaked out, appropriately, because the dead previous owner, his uncle, standing there looking at him. But he, I don't know, didn't think much of it. But I told him, hey, there's something out there, and he didn't disagree. So I told him I could do something about it if he wanted. And he's kind of laughing, he's an alcoholic, so he was drinking then. So these people don't really take much serious. Even if they knew what was exactly going on, their mind wouldn't let them really comprehend. So I started looking around. I found a lady that does clear those things. And I got to know her, and we just planned it out. We went out there, and she got stuff she needed, and we smudged and sealed it up. The owners, last time I talked to them, it's like they didn't like me. I mean, it's like oil and water. It's like all the people out there, they're all different political affiliation. They're all into guns and a lot of racism. And I remember when the new owner, his son graduated. This is about 4 years before I quit working there. Graduated high school, and they had like a 3-week graduation party for him and all his friends. But the first day they came out, and we have a huge gravel parking lot, so semis, trucks can turn around and stuff. It's a gravel and dirt parking lot. And they poured some probably diesel on the ground, and then they lit it on fire, and they're standing there all laughing. Went over and looked at he poured diesel on the ground and lit it on fire. I went over and looked at what they're burning. They burned a swastika into the gravel. They burned a flaming swastika, and they're all lit on fire. They're all laughing. Ah, ha, ha. So that's the kind of place it was. And the previous owner, Dave, the guy that shot nuclear weapons as artillery shells, explained all his lingering illness. But he had a thing with the Philippines. He's always bringing these Filipino healer guys in and stuff. So who knows what they were doing at that place, really. I asked one of the old timers that been there he worked there occasionally, off and on for decades and decades. I asked him, there's something out there. He goes, well, yeah, Dave, he did a lot of stuff out there. It's like he wasn't denying anything. So we went and sealed it up. And the lady that helped me with that, she said, this was weeks later, probably a month later. She said one of her friends called from another state. She said that someone she'd only met once, just briefly, she said she got a call from this person that said that there was a demon on a train looking for this woman that helped me close that place. She said, give her this message, that there's a demon on a train going up and down the cars looking for her. So that was apparently the thing we locked in. But I looked at the heritage, or the history of that area. It's called Mission Bottom. That was the first mission ever in Oregon. Jason Lee, he pretty much founded the first mission in Oregon. And he went to a specific spot. It was like a couple miles away from where I live. It's right near the Wheatland Ferry too, which is the only way to get across that river. So, and later there's what they called the electric railway. First railway was all electric, and they'd have to put substations every so often. There was a substation right there right near the Wheatland Ferry and the old mission, and so the amount of traffic through there through history is there's a lot going on there through history. One of the ladies I talked to said that the trappers got into it with the Indians in that area. So there's a lot of weird tragedy and stuff. So, but yeah, so sealed up a demonic entity, and that's good. And you know, the last time I talked to Dan, you know, it's like they didn't like me, but they like to have me around. He said, well, come back anytime. It's like, all right, you know. But I don't know, it's weird the way some people, they don't like me. They're completely opposite me. They don't like me, but they like to have me around. So, I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, yeah. Another kind of interesting thing that I kept seeing these after I talked to Raymond Tarpey, and kept seeing these number sequences all the time. 111, 222, 333. They mean different things, but I saw them all the time. And then I quit seeing them, so I thought, oh geez, okay, something's wrong. And I only knew one spiritual person, and that was the person that Raymond had suggested to me. So I called her again. This is after the demon and everything, after I kind of figured a lot of stuff out. I thought, you know, something's wrong. I'm not seeing these number sequences. So I went there, called her, got an appointment. And it's kind of funny. I set an appointment, and I didn't see my email for a day. And when I finally got to my email, I say 2 emails. It says, one said, canceled, your appointment's canceled. And then another email said, disregard that last email. Stay on schedule with your last appointment. So it's like, okay, whatever. I guess I missed those 2 emails anyway. So I went to my appointment, and I was talking to her, and I mentioned Raymond. And she goes, well, he's having an appointment after yours. Oh, she goes, I'm seeing him today. I went, really? My voice got so high, I didn't know my voice could get that high. Really? She goes, yeah, she has an appointment after you. It's like, oh, can I stay here? But yeah, it's like apparently his wife scheduled the same time I did. So that's the way our guides and stuff work. But when my appointment done, I heard all these people. It's like their entire family came in, and we'd never seen each other before face to face. And she goes, this is Sean. You're like, Sean Nolan? It's Sean Nolan. He's like, and yeah, we like hugged for a minute. It's like, I don't know. We were like soul brothers. We hadn't seen each other in centuries. But it was really amazing. It's one of those things. And then I started seeing the number sequences again, like crazy. I still do. Every day I don't drive around a lot, but I do see a lot of number sequences, and they all mean something different. When I see 444, that means I got to start meditating more. You know, 555 is change. I've been seeing that a lot lately. So I remember right before COVID hit, I was driving down a really busy road in Salem. And there's 2 lanes going one way, 2 lanes going another, and there's a turn lane in the middle. There's a car trying to get in the lane that I was in. So I'm slowing down. I was going to let him in. Slowing down. And all of a sudden, this guy just bolts right in front of me, so I had to hit the brakes. and my soda, it like flew into the passenger seat. And I looked at the car that cut in front of me is 555. And he cut in front of the next guy and got into the shoulder and then went into the driveway. So, wow, that's weird. But my soda, all it had was ice in it and nothing spilled, so I just picked it up and put it down. But I was thinking about that. It was 555. It was like, it couldn't have been any more dramatic. The guy almost ran into me. And I was thinking, well, that's change. And then, right then, that's when the virus started. It was like that day or the next when they started talking about the virus and this and that. So anyway, yeah, I think certain areas that can be poisoned if there's trauma going on there for years and years and years, the land can absorb that. So anyway, so I have banished a demon, so there you go. Anyway, and I was glad that was one of the things on my to-do list. So I got some more. I'm working down the list. So wish me luck. And love you all. Rock on.